Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. So we are currently looking at the track marks for Tropical Storm Ian. They are saying that is going to be a major hurricane, possibly a Category 4 by the time it makes landfall. As of right now, it's looking like most of the panhandle down into the arch of Florida there is where there's likely going to be an impact. It's not sounding like it's going to hit South Florida, but they still don't really know. Part of the reason why that is one, it's hard to tell when it's this far out, obviously. But two, if you remember back in August, we posted up this little clip right here for you. If you'll check this out real quick. How can you possibly have a successful hurricane track when you have buoys that are down and you're replacing them with basically a glorified surfboard with some crap screwed to it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why the administration that's currently in office did not fix those. That is a national thing that comes from federal, guys. That is not just Florida. We're not getting the money we need to fix these buoys. Why? Because they're funneling it all into their Green New Deal, which is filling their pockets. It's not doing anything for the environment, guys. But you need to be paying attention to what's happening with the track of this hurricane, especially if you're in the Gulf Coast area. I would even recommend all the way to Louisiana, guys. Keep an eye on this thing because we have seen in the past where it looks like it's headed one direction, then it will shift over into the next. And as information becomes available, we look at a lot of different sites, NOAA and things like that. And we can get you some information like what we're going to show here. This is basically showing the information that's coming from Cuba and other areas as well. So again, we're just going to show you those tracks again so you can kind of see if you're going to be in an affected area. Understand that is trying to judge the eye where it's headed, so you still have a large storm coming in and you're going to have, you know, all of the wind effects, the flood damage and stuff like that spread out. So it sounds like most of Florida is going to be, or most of northwest Florida, I guess we should say, is going to be affected pretty heavy. We're looking at flooding events and stuff like that. So make sure you're prepared. Make sure your generators are full of fuel. Make sure you have standby fuel. Go ahead and fill those cars up. Get some food. I would recommend getting canned goods and stuff. Don't try to buy a bunch of stuff that you're going to have to cook unless you have a grill to cook that on, because if you don't have power and you don't have gas for your stove, it does you no good, guys. So make sure you're getting stuff that you can make pretty easy if you have to start a little campfire or something like that. You know, a lot of people have those little propane camp stoves. I'd recommend doing that as well. It is getting harder to find the small propane canisters for that, because that is something that preppers like myself, Survival Living, a lot of these other guys, we'll make sure that we get that stuff as soon as we can so we have some stockpiled for later on. But this is part of why we try to reach sustainable levels. This is why we focus on survival and preparedness, because anything can happen. It does not take a SHTF event for something major to change in the world, guys. It really doesn't. You need to look at the natural storms in your areas. Maybe you live in an area that's prone to earthquakes, you know, wildfires. I think wildfires, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst that you can deal with. An earthquake, it happens, it's bad, it has a lot of cleanup. But a wildfire, you can get locked into an area if you're not paying attention really close. With the hurricane stuff, I imagine there'll be a lot of people evacuating here in the next few days, but most people don't evacuate until the last minute, so that jams the roads up. So if you're planning to evacuate, you need to start doing that a day or two ahead of time would be my recommendation to you. Make sure that you're carrying, you know, a reserve fuel tank as well, because you're going to have a lot of traffic coming out of Florida into your northern states. Expect the prices to be gouged. It always happens. They're going to jack those prices up even though it's illegal. And not only that, you might actually run into fuel shortage issues, which they're actually having down in like Daytona and areas like that right now, which aren't really expected to be impacted too bad by this. But people don't take a chance down here because you never know what's going to happen, especially when you have your governors and all that saying we're not really sure what's going to happen to all the meteorologists. So we're getting conflicting data. We'll understand the conflicting data is because of these crap buoys that they put up where they're broken. That's my opinion on it. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay prepared. Remember, prep in faith, guys. We'll talk to you later.